What exactly happened 1 minute ago, when the number on the YouTube screen moved once again, breaking through a boundary that even global music industry analysts had long considered nearly impossible, 1.33 billion views, without a single new song released throughout the year, without a major comeback promotion, without the aggressive strategies that usually serve as the primary weapons of K-pop giants. Was this merely an algorithmic coincidence? Or is there a quiet secret that the world has overlooked all this time? A phenomenon that has silently made Jungkook's competitors grind their teeth, feel confused, and begin to question the entire map of power within the global entertainment industry. That question suddenly became even more relevant when, on December 29, 2025, a simple post from the Popcore account, @ThePopcore, on Platform X exploded without warning. There was no countdown, no lengthy teaser, no manufactured drama. Just a single claim that sounded almost too bold to believe. Jungkook had officially become the most searched K-pop idol on YouTube globally for 5 consecutive years, from 2021 to 2025. Within minutes, the post was flooded with thousands of likes and reposts, triggering a wave of discussion that was not only intense but also emotional, defensive, and, for some, deeply unsettling. Yet the real shock was not merely the numbers or the rankings. What made the world pause was the context. Jungkook achieved all of this in a year that many observers labeled a silent year. There was no new album, no global single, no masi premouštěný púšť. What remained were traces of the past. The solo album Golden, released in 2023, old fan cams, snippets of BTS performances from previous years, and archival content that, by industry logic, should have already passed its peak. But reality told a different story. The numbers kept rising. The charts did not fall. Public interest did not fade. And one by one, competitors from both K-pop and the global music scene began asking quietly, what is really happening? Korean media such as Star News Korea and international outlets like Soap Central recorded this phenomenon as something unusual. Normally, digital dominance requires a constant supply of new content. Jungkook, however, proved the opposite. YouTube search data showed his name ranking #1 globally, spanning highly competitive markets such as the United States, Brazil, Canada, the United Kingdom, France, Germany, and Australia. Even in regions known for their selectiveness and intense competition, such as South Korea, Japan, and China, Jungkook consistently held a top 2 position. All of this occurred without the push of new releases, without the weapons the industry typically relies on. This is where the puzzle deepens. How could an artist maintain such powerful appeal while the surrounding industry moves fast, aggressively, and almost without pause? Is this merely the effect of BTS's massive name? Or has Jungkook surpassed the definition of a group member and transformed into a cultural entity of his own? The initial answer seems to lie in details that appear trivial at first glance, yet are crucial. The black and white photo accompanying the Popcore post was no ordinary image. Jungkook was seen lying casually in a bathtub, wearing a loose silk shirt, his arm tattoos clearly visible, his expression calm, almost cold, yet radiating a mature aura that was impossible to ignore. There was no exaggerated smile, no aggressive pose, only silence speaking for itself. For some, it was merely an artistic photograph. But for millions of fans and observers, the image became a symbol. Post-military Jungkook was no longer just a young idol, but a global figure with full control over his own image. Since completing his military service in June 2025 alongside Jimin, Jungkook did not return in the conventional way. He did not immediately announce an album. He did not excessively exploit the momentum of post-discharge hype. Instead, he appeared slowly but consistently. He attended fellow BTS members' concerts as a guest, appeared at New York Fashion Week, participated in Calvin Klein and Chanel beauty campaigns, and hosted simple live streams, playing games, cooking, talking without scripts. Taken individually, these activities seemed ordinary, but when woven together, they formed a powerful narrative. Jungkook appeared as a human being, not merely a product. This is where the first secret began to reveal itself. In an era where the entertainment industry is saturated with hyper-production strategies, Jungkook offered something rare, a presence that felt authentic. Algorithms may play a role, but they do not operate in a vacuum. They are driven by human behavior, by clicks fueled by emotion, curiosity, and attachment. When someone watches an old Jungkook fan cam from years ago, it is not simply nostalgia. It is an emotional response to a figure who feels real, who has grown alongside his fans. The figure of 1.33 billion views on his YouTube topic channel is not merely a statistic. It is the accumulation of millions of small decisions made by people across the world. Decisions to rewatch, to share, to return. With more than 4 million subscribers and the status of the top K-pop soloist on the platform, Jungkook has not only outperformed his competitors, he has set a new standard that forces many to reevaluate their strategies. This dominance does not stop at YouTube. Data from fan communities and search platforms show that Jungkook has also been the most searched K-pop idol on Google and Tumblr for 5 consecutive years, while topping Pinterest in 2024. This pattern signals something deeper than fleeting popularity. It is a cross-platform, cross-cultural, and cross-generational phenomenon. A form of dominance that does not rely on a single medium, but spreads like a quiet yet powerful undercurrent. The reactions of netizens and ARMY reflect this strength. Comment sections overflowed with congratulations, admiration, and even statements that sounded almost fatalistic. Jungkook staying #1 for 5 years feels inevitable, not hype, just truth. What makes this sentence striking is not the praise itself, but its tone of certainty. As if, for many people, Jungkook's dominance is no longer something to question, but a fact to accept. Yet beneath the euphoria lies a tension that cannot be ignored. Every form of dominance casts a shadow. Every king, whether he wants to or not, creates restless challengers. The global music industry, fast-moving and fiercely competitive, is not accustomed to stagnant rankings. When one name remains at the top for too long, questions inevitably arise. Is this healthy? Is it fair? Is this a sign of a paradigm shift, or merely a temporary anomaly? One thing is certain, 1 minute ago when that number increased again, it was not only Jungkook who set a record. The entire industry was forced to look into the mirror. And perhaps, without many realizing it, the secret behind those 1.33 billion views has just opened a much larger chapter. One that will not only change Jungkook's career, but also the way the world understands the true power of an artist in the digital era. Is the world truly witnessing a digital miracle? Or is it instead a new pattern that has long been hidden behind numbers and graphs that appear cold and detached? That question has begun to echo more loudly as analysts attempt to dissect the secret behind Jungkook's dominance, which seems untouched by the gravitational laws of the entertainment industry. For behind those 1.33 billion YouTube views lies something far more complex than mere popularity or the weight of the BTS name. There is a silent convergence of algorithms, collective emotion, and global identity, a combination that, if recognized too late, can leave any competitor lagging behind without ever fully understanding what actually happened. YouTube, like many other digital platforms, is often perceived as a neutral mathematical machine. Numbers, click-through rates, watch duration, and automated recommendations appear to be the sole determinants of who rises and who sinks. Yet Jungkook's case has forced many to acknowledge that algorithms do not operate in sterile isolation. They learn from humans. They observe habits, emotions, and patterns of attachment. When millions of people from different cultural backgrounds return to watch the same videos, not because of forced promotion, but due to inner motivation, the algorithm does only one thing. It amplifies what already lives within the audience. This is where the second secret begins to reveal itself. Jungkook is not merely consumed, he is lived through by his fans. Old fan cams that continue to circulate are not just visual archives, but emotional artifacts. Every movement, every expression, every small detail becomes a reminder of a long journey experienced together. In this context, viewing is no longer a passive activity, but a ritual. And no matter how sharp it may be, an algorithm never truly creates a ritual. It only magnifies what already exists. This phenomenon is clearly visible in the way Jungkook has remained at the top of global search rankings, even while BTS was in a hiatus due to military service. Conventional logic would suggest that momentum should decline, yet the data shows the opposite. In the United States and Europe, interest in Jungkook has risen consistently. In Brazil and Canada, his name has dominated searches. In the United Kingdom and France, older videos have resurfaced in recommendations. This is not merely fan loyalty. It is the formation of a cross-national identity, in which Jungkook is no longer seen as a Korean idol, but as a global figure who can be personally interpreted by anyone. Emotion plays a key role in this process. The post-military period is often a critical phase for Korean artists. Some return with explosive impact, while others struggle to reclaim the spotlight. Jungkook chose a quieter path, almost contrary to expectations. There were no bombastic statements, no grand promises, yet that is precisely where his strength lies. Silence creates space for audiences to interpret on their own. Every appearance, no matter how small, feels meaningful. Every post, however brief, sparks extended discussion. When Jungkook appeared at New York Fashion Week, for example, public attention was not focused solely on what he wore, but on the symbolic message he carried. He was present not as an outsider, but as a focal point, standing on equal footing with global fashion icons. His campaigns with Calvin Klein and Chanel Beauty were not merely commercial collaborations, but affirmations of position. Jungkook is a global face, not a regional one. That identity then flows back into digital platforms, reinforcing the narrative already embedded in the public consciousness. Remarkably, all of this unfolded without major conflict, the usual fuel for media coverage. Even minor controversies, such as the hat incident during J-Hope's concert rehearsal, failed to escalate into a crisis. Instead, ARMY's response demonstrated a level of collective maturity rarely seen in a fandom of such scale. Support remained solid. The narrative did not fracture. This indicates that the relationship between Jungkook and his fans has moved beyond a reactive phase into a reflective one. They no longer merely defend, they understand. For competitors, this is the most unsettling part. How do you rival something that is not aggressive, not forceful, yet continues to grow? Strategies of rapid releases, massive promotions, and large-scale collaborations appear less effective when faced with a figure whose strength lies in long-term emotional attachment. Some analysts have even begun referring to this phenomenon as quiet dominance, a form of dominance that does not feel threatening until it is already too late. In this context, the algorithm transforms from a tool into a mirror. It reflects what already exists in society: a need for figures who are consistent, authentic, and capable of growing without losing their core identity. Jungkook, with his journey from golden magne to a mature post-military icon, offers a growth narrative that is rarely interrupted. Longtime viewers feel acknowledged. New viewers feel welcomed. These two groups meet in the same digital space, creating a viewing cycle that is nearly unbroken. And perhaps this is the greatest surprise of all. In an era where speed is considered everything, Jungkook has proven that endurance is the new currency. The 1.33 billion views are not the result of a momentary explosion, but the accumulation of time, emotion, and identity slowly intertwined. Every click carries a story. Every view carries a memory. And when all of these converge, something is created that is difficult to imitate, let alone replicate. The question now is no longer how Jungkook managed to reach such numbers, but what will happen next. If this dominance continues without new releases, what will occur when he finally returns with a major project? Is the world ready to face its impact? Or will the industry once again be shocked by the realization that the peak long believed to be the highest still has room above it? One thing is clear: the secret behind the 1.33 billion views is not a single key, but a labyrinth. And anyone who attempts to compete without understanding that labyrinth may find themselves doing nothing more than grinding their teeth, realizing too late that the game has already changed direction. Then, after all those numbers have been reached, after 1.33 billion views are no longer merely a target but a fact, the most unsettling question naturally emerges. What does all of this mean for the future of Jungkook, BTS, and the K-pop industry as a whole? Is the world witnessing the highest peak before an inevitable natural decline? Or is this instead the beginning of a larger, quieter, yet far more influential phase? For many fans, Jungkook's dominance evokes mixed emotions. There is pride that is difficult to conceal, but also an unease that is rarely spoken aloud. When one BTS member shines so brightly, will that light strengthen the group, or will it inevitably cast a shadow? Interestingly, however, Data and public responses so far show no signs of division. On the contrary, Jungkook's dominance has extended BTS's relevance as a collective entity, even as they were temporarily paused by national duty. This context matters. With all BTS members except Suga, who completed his military service in June 2025, now returned, expectations for a group project in 2026 have surged to nearly unrealistic levels. Jungkook, holding the status of the most searched idol on YouTube, Google, Tumblr, and other platforms, carries a significant symbolic weight. He is not merely a member, but the face of BTS's resilience during the hiatus. Every solo achievement he earns becomes indirect proof that BTS never truly left the public consciousness. At the same time, the industry is reading broader signals. Jungkook recently celebrated 10 billion streams on Spotify in November 2025, a figure that places him alongside global names across genres. This is no longer about K-pop versus the West or groups versus soloists. It is about position within the global cultural ecosystem. Jungkook now operates in the same space as world icons, where geographic boundaries and language barriers become secondary to emotional resonance. What is most surprising is that all of this has unfolded without a narrative of confrontation. There are no provocative statements, no claims of supremacy. Jungkook has never declared himself the biggest or the best. The world is the one drawing those conclusions. Netizens summed it up in a simple yet weighty sentence: JK is 1 in a million. This line is not merely praise, but an acknowledgement that there is something that cannot be fully explained by data or strategy alone. For competitors, this is the most difficult phase. Beating numbers may still be possible. Outperforming promotions can be planned. But rivaling emotional attachment built across years and across different stages of fans' lives is a far more complex challenge. Jungkook has been present through many moments in his audience's lives, from adolescence to the transition into adulthood to reflective phases after the pandemic and military service. He has not only been listened to, but lived with. Perhaps this is the final surprise that many fail to recognize. The secret behind the 1.33 billion YouTube views is not a formula that can be copied, but a relationship built over a long period of time. While the industry is busy chasing instant virality, Jungkook stands as proof that emotional consistency still holds a formidable power. That number is not a peak but a marker, a sign that the paradigm has shifted. And as the world continues to wonder what the next move will be, one thing becomes increasingly clear. Jungkook is not running away from BTS, and BTS is not being left behind by him. They are moving within the same orbit, only with new dynamics. At this point, the question is no longer whether Jungkook can be maintained at the top, but whether the world is ready to accept that the very shape of the peak itself has changed. 1 minute ago, that number increased again. And perhaps without anyone realizing it, a small piece of history was recorded once more. Not only about an idol, but about how true influence works in the digital era.